I'd like to tell you about how to do the term paper. So hopefully this will help you understand what's involved and help you plan ahead to get everything done. And also it's really useful to look at the term paper examples. There are two examples there and that will give you a good idea of what I'm looking for. So both of those examples earned A's in the class. This paper is worth 100 points and is 20% of your grade, so it's quite a lot of your grade and it's very important. The paper should be 4 pages, double spaced, and you need to keep your interview notes and attach them to the back of the paper. You can scan them in if you want, if they're handwritten, or you can type them up. And you need to include a title, so don't forget to include a title. Don't just call it adult development paper, but try to come up with a good title. Points will be taken off if you forget the title. Also check your plagiarism score, of course, on Turnitin on Beachboard. Make sure that you're not copying and pasting from any source because the Turnitin will catch that. And if you do want to refer to a source, just make sure to put it in your own words, and that will help you reduce your plagiarism score. Anything above 20% is quite questionable, so just make sure you do that. And then put your name on a separate last page and don't put it on the front. And that's in order to avoid any kind of grader bias. Again, there are examples on Beachboard. So for the interview part, you need to interview 6 people. Make sure you're interviewing the right age group. Your age group is assigned by your last name, and you can see the details of that on the syllabus and in the term paper schedule as well. So when you interview people, again, tell them that this is confidential. You're not going to use their name, and if at any point they're uncomfortable, they can stop the interview altogether and only tell you what they're comfortable with. When you ask the questions, you need to ask each of the questions in the same way so that each interview is standardized, and that's basically just good methods. So what you'll ask people is, in the last 6 months, have there been situations that have bothered you or upset you in some way? And, please tell me about these situations. And so for each of these issues that they bring up, ask them like, what has caused you stress? How stressful was this event? What did you do about it? Were you satisfied with the outcome? And what could you have done to make the outcome better? So this will take some time and you need to schedule time for these interviews. Once you have all of those notes, try to think of what themes arise. What do a lot of them have in common? Again, sometimes you might have like a very diverse group, so if you can't find a common theme, it's fine if just 1 or 2 people say something that really resonates with you. And if you really can't find something that ties people together, you can just focus on one person's interview and focus on one theme that they have mentioned that you think could be really good to write a paper on. And try to pick themes that relate to what you've learned in class, something you can find in the textbook, or something that you can find with research articles. You might have some great idea, but if you can't find any supporting literature or information to back up that idea, it won't be easy to write the paper. And also think about, can I illustrate this theme with the quotes and the examples from the interviews? You'll also be graded on how well you integrate the interviews with actual research material. And ideally, you can focus on 1 or 2 themes. It's fine to just do 1. 3 tends to be kind of a lot, but if you absolutely need to do 3, then that's fine too. Okay, and again, if you just want to focus on 1 person, that's fine. It's better to tie people together, but if that's not possible, that's okay. So this is just a structure, but again, some of the example papers are a little bit more fluid, where they give a theme and then an example and then another theme and then another example. So you can do it either way, but this is one suggestion. So for the first 2 pages, you can describe the themes that you saw. Make sure to be very explicit and clear. So you might say something like, middle age is a time when many adults experience conflict between work and family. And you want to say, this theme is about work-family balance. And then you should give an example and more than one if possible. So again, for the person, you can put a fake name for them and put the gender, ethnicity, race, and age in parentheses next to the name at first. So here's an example there that you can read. Then in the next, like 1.5 page or so, connect your theme to research from journal articles and from the textbook. Make sure you talk about some kind of theory, how that relates to what you've seen with the interviews, and also make sure you don't go off too much on tangents and that you cite the sources correctly as well. If you want to look at APA examples, there's some on the syllabus, and there's also a website that you can look at that's on the syllabus too. So try to have enough research citations as well, and don't just rely on like one or two. And again, there's an alternative structure where you can interweave the themes and the examples instead of just doing the examples first and then the research next. And then finally, do not forget this part. The last half page or less should be about future directions. So you need to say something about, whether the theme supported the models that you read about, whether it didn't, what other factors could be involved, and how you would test a research question you might have based on the interviews in a future study. So try to be as specific as you can be, have your hypothesis, and how you would test your research question. For grading, clarity and concreteness are key. Make sure you have somebody read it over for you as well to check for any typos or grammar mistakes. Do not lose points for APA format. Again, you can look at that website on the syllabus to make sure you're citing resources correctly. And for the future direction, don't just say like, I would like to generalize this to such and such sample, but try to think really critically about what the issue is, what the mechanism involved is, and how you would test that research question. So you'll be graded based on this rubric, right? 20 points will be based on writing and just organization and whether everything looks good. 15 points will be based on whether your themes are very clear and explicit. 30 points will be based on how good your interview examples are. And did you relate the examples well to the themes? Does it flow well? Are they good illustrations of the themes? 30 points will be based on the research that you have. You need to include at least 4 empirical articles. And you need to show that you've read the papers, that you went deeply into the material, that you understand the material well, and that it's linked to the interview examples. And then finally, 10 points will be awarded to your future directions, and basically that needs to be very thoughtful and clear.